Works for me.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the semifinals of the Shuffle It Dominion Online 2021 Championship. I'm here with Tracer.
Hello.
And we're going to watch RTT and sillypotter face off. So they're fighting for the privilege of facing N.A. Smith in the finals.
Yeah, which was this couple days ago, and that was a tight match, went to a 7th game.
Yeah, very long.
We'll hope that this one doesn't quite get that length, but if it does, we'll be here.
We'll have Johns rotate in.
That sounds good.
When I get tired.
I guess now we're doing a standoff for who presses ready first.
You don't get to pass Johns, sorry. It's just it's in your contract if you check that.
Yeah, you need to log back out and take a look at the terms of service. You agreed to this when you signed up for Shuffle It.
Oh, I am here.
Oh, right, you on your fancy account.
I just wanted to be ready in the case of somebody
and hiding,
which is always a possibility.
Looks like that is not an issue. Or Steph made my account special, which I would really like.
The bad thing though is that I gotta remember the chat commands to fix this background.
Oh no!
Perfect.
Probably Swamp Hag.
It was Swamp Hag.
Terrible.
I guess is Swamp Hag the default? I don't even know.
Yeah, I think so.
Man, that is just. We gotta forgive some design choices, I guess, but
yeah,
that one's tough.
If it's going to be one of the images, it should have been Inheritance or Feodum, something green. But
yeah, so there's so few of them that are not too busy to be a background, or just not just too straight up ugly to be a background. I didn't think the Swamp Hag is too ugly. I just think it's a bad background.
Red.
And it's not the art in and of itself. I guess we could talk about the games.
Oh, that'd be boring.
Well, they don't have trashing, and it would be pretty helpful to do more exciting stuff here.
Yeah, I think you probably still, try to draw with lab and put in some highways.
Yeah, I guess the question is, do you try and do pawn diplomat stuff to activate the diplomats, or do you just do highway lab pawn and be satisfied with that?
Yeah, I think I might tend towards trying to do a little bit of diplomat stuff just in case they get an eye for Margrave, but I'm also not quite sure what the reward is on that. We get to play Falconers.
Yeah.
Might not be the best.
And the opening hand stuff is pretty rough. Like if you have the lab and then you draw into your pawn and diplomat or whatever, then it's
Yeah, you do diplomat and then they just don't do Margrave and then you're sad.
Yeah.
So.
And you can, certainly you can build a powerful thing if you get enough of the labs to do, get plenty of buys and do the highway stuff.
Yeah.
It won't fire every time, but
yeah, there's, I guess, one question on towards the lab is how much you put into hireling.
Yeah. I do think there's I think I would get one at least.
Yeah, I think I do agree that there's probably a little bit of room for it. Just I think it's unlikely that you're going to be able to see Margrave every turn early if that's what you want to put at the end. So.
Yeah. Does RTT take a lab or a highway here? Or they already have the lab, so maybe the highway now. The Falconer.
Falconer. That one's a little interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there are sufficient decent dual types to make it,
yeah,
function, but
especially once you get, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was to say, just because a lot of times you won't really be willing to play it as a terminal, or some of the times anyway, that won't be.
I was going to say, especially once you get a little bit of highway going, caravan guards are just so easy to buy.
Sillypotter takes a gold, which I don't particularly like. I mean, maybe they're going to try and just take early provinces with battlefield points and hope that's enough. I just feels like that'll be too slow, and eventually the drawing stuff will get there.
Yeah, just be able to do too much. One thing to note on that is that RTT off a silver open did get 2 5s, whereas Sillypotter, I mean, opening Diplomat silver, that's not going to happen. I don't know how much that would play into it. I mean, it wouldn't do much for me, but feeling like your opponent's just going to be so much better at building the big lab highway thing might point you to try to get these early points rather than follow.
I do think the thing Cyrix mentioned with the changeling does make the Falconer, the changeling hireling interaction makes the Falconer look a lot nicer.
Yeah, this is a good point out from chat that RTT just gained a silver with the Falconer over a changeling, which would have been another lab. So went for canal over 2 labs, probably.
Yeah, I can't imagine you need the canal that badly. You don't have any. I mean, they're not really failing to hit like reasonable price points right now anyway.
Yeah.
And
now for the deck that Sillypotter is building, I'm like, canal is probably great because presumably you're just going to try to be starting buying provinces.
Now RTT falls on gold too. So at this point, it looks like nobody's gonna build the drawing deck.
Yeah.
And the WoW in a duchy already.
Yeah, duchy. Wow.
I don't think that's it.
Yeah, that one's just.
I do have some sympathy for not thinking the deck will totally come together in time. Like, I can believe that, but yeah. I don't think it means you start taking duchies right now.
I'd also, personally at least, I'd try to have faith in it. If I had sort of started down that route, even if it was going to lose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you get RTT had the shuffle for it for sure, because it didn't have to take extra stop cards after the opening.
Yeah. But now they're into green. Okay. State for the battlefield points.
RTT gonna draw their hireling every time with Margrave.
See, hireling is terrible. That's the conclusion.
That's what we learned. It would have been much better to draw a lab dead each time.
This will be interesting whether it's a duchy or okay, it's a lab. So
now you go back
RTT is going back to
now you go back to lab because of course the 2 points on turn 9 or 8 or whatever it was were really essential.
Yeah. I guess now RTT is looking at this as I need to build to double since I'm so behind on points.
Yeah.
Something like that. Well, Hireling finally got played.
Mm-hmm. Someone did mention this in chat, but I don't know if it's true. If they were thinking that the Falconer had a favorable interaction with cost reduction rather than what it actually has, which is nothing.
So it does at this point look like sillypotter is going to be winning this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's no.
Yeah, our RTT, started doing the green and treasure, and so it's not really going to be much of a way to come back after that.
No, in fact, I mean it. If you're behind in that aspect, and then you start buying the provinces, you just make it even more likely that you can't win.
Yeah.
All right, so this is it.
Yeah. Was Falconer a big error?
I think the Falconer was fine. I just don't think he stuck with building the deck that he had started building out.
Yeah.
It might have still been too slow, to be honest, but shifting
puts you behind on both. So.
All right. Well, that game did not take us any time, so my background went back. Does it not change it permanently unless I?
Pretty sure it doesn't change it permanently. We get to do this every single game.
I gotta see Swamp Bag at the start of every game. I'm gonna just leave, go fix this, and then I'll be back. I can't do it. I should have just been on my account.
So here it looks like we have reasons to build in Ghost Ship. So you want to be putting a Ghost Ship at the end of it, but I think for the most part it ends up being Bandit Camp Envoy, which is a little bit ugly. Because Bandit Camp Ghost Ship is probably not going to get it much done. You have counterfeit to double spoils, which is a positive thing to do. Starting off though, it looks like chat is saying, buy hermits, and that also looks good to me.
Yeah.
You really don't want to get that many stock cards, which is to say silvers, into your deck.
Yeah. Sillypotter gets a pretty sad reshuffle. Guess it could be worse. This hand could have came second instead of first.
Yeah, but, I mean, draw hermit, 3 coppers, turn 3 is your worst. They both get to trash an estate.
This is RTT may be very sad here.
Yeah. I'm going to guess that this Envoy, I'm thinking that this turn's probably just going to pass. I think playing this Envoy, the chances of hitting 5 are still pretty not great. Well, maybe not.
Well, you have to reveal
4 cards.
Four coppers, right? In the 5.
Yeah, 3 non-coppers in those 8. So, I think there's also a silver. Okay.
Oh, I guess that.
There's a silver.
Well, they hit it, so I guess RTT is just better than us.
Yeah, this does seem clearly counterfeit. Yeah.
Nice to. I guess they had bottom decked the Madman as well, so that was a dream kind of reveal for RTT there.
So sillypotter holds a madman, which is reasonable. I've gotten to the number.
You can get a madman and a crop rotation here, which is, I don't know if you have any. Yeah, you still have an estate, so looks reasonable anyway. Though
we're getting into a point in this game where Hermit becomes a little bit awkward because you don't necessarily want the silvers, but you still have these hermits around.
Yeah. I mean, it's not totally clear to me that like crop rotation madman's better than getting another counterfeit, but it probably is.
Yeah. I mean, take the opportunity while it's there. It feels way cooler. True.
I don't know. Do you go? Yeah, you should blow up the silver to get two 5s.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
Counterfeit ghost ship there might have been a better move. Now that you're stuck at 9.
I mean, another envoy is okay-ish, but yeah, no, I'm not. That turn could have been pretty considerably better.
I'm gonna say probably don't play this.
And that to me feels like, I know, like, I was complaining about the other match going slow, but that's like a good time to stop and think, oh, would I rather have $10 than $9 here? And what things do I get between the two things? And you would, like, pretty quickly, I think, if RTT hadn't just clicked copper or whatever and gone, you'd think, oh yeah, I would rather have 2 5s on this board.
Yeah.
Just every time.
I mean, it's like we were talking about earlier. You don't exactly want the silvers around either, so it's not like you're losing a whole lot by...
No. I mean, yeah, you're past the point where the silver is like getting you your initial 5.
Yeah. RTT is very thankful to not be hit by Ghost Ship here. I think I'd probably add another bandit camp here as sillypotter. Usually it's weird to say that you really want to go up to the price point that you're at, but
I really hate this second ghost ship.
Yeah, that. I think it probably makes a little bit of sense much later on, but not right now. When you're getting into...
The second ghost ship is like, to me, is like, you either need 0 other draw, or you need, for some reason, to have, just like a massive deck where you really want to increase your chances of playing a ghost ship every turn.
Yeah, I think much later on, when you are going through your deck with Bandit Camp and Envoy, there might be some value in getting a second one just so that you more for sure play it, because Envoy, how Envoy works. But...
Yeah, and it is true with, you're gonna have quite a bit in the discard, so just even having an extra one to scoop up spoils or envoy discard things can be maybe it sort of can function as the cantrip here. We don't really have, I mean, the bandit camp can, but
that
can't scoop up everything.
By RTT right there. The envoy should have been played before the second bandit camp for sure. Just to say, didn't play ghost ship unnecessarily. You see RTT getting the second ghost ship too.
I would even. I'm trying to. I mean, you go pretty heavy on counterfeits even beyond with this, I think, but maybe not yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, perfectly fine to have one of them for every spoils.
Yeah.
I mean, we did see RTT hit, what, 20 coins there? Madman assisted, but even so, 3 buys was not making it.
Yep. And it did happen, you know, that thing you're talking about where just because of the envoy effect, RTT didn't get to attack.
Yeah.
So that was...
RTT could have done a little bit different ordering, I think. But
okay, yeah.
Even,
yeah, you didn't mention that.
Even so, it was a good example of it mattering. Three bandit camps. Envoy. That's how I'm pronouncing it.
I usually say envoy. I think. I don't really remember. I think I've probably said it both ways in my life, but
you know, it's a proper noun since it's a Dominion card, so there's, you know, different ways to say it. There, here we see the second ghost ship be great.
This is like 2 spoils ghost ship. Is that the 3 cards?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is scary.
Really scary.
Also, you should be burning silvers 100% and not spoils.
Over spoils, yeah.
You should be getting rid of. You want to have just none of those in your deck.
Okay, so RTT does get the bandit camp in this hand, but it's going to be sort of hard pressed to not dud anyways with the ghost ship attack. I guess that was another point against leaving the 2 spoils and the ghost ship, was that even if you do draw this bandit camp, it's going to be really tough to get a full turn.
Yeah, I don't know why you. I'm still just thinking about the dot trashing silver thing.
I think I'd like this to be another counterfeit with the envoy. Third ghost ship.
We're gonna say that this silver was the silver RTT didn't trash, and that the next card was a bandit camp, and the next card was an envoy.
I can live with that.
Obviously.
One.
Oh yeah, buy gold. Yes, you need golds.
Gold. Bought a third ghost ship and a gold.
I'm not a fan of the buys. I mean, the deck's directions are obviously like fine. Like this is the kind of deck, but not a fan of the buys.
It's just not quite as streamlined as it could be. Which is, you know, you don't have to draw through muck with your bandit camp.
Counterfeit is just like so much better than gold there. Just as far as everything, like it makes more money. It it gives you pile control and.
Hopefully this is the silver trash. Okay, so Silly Potter has it going. So still really hope to see a third counterfeit this turn.
Museum, I would just not even think about museum ever.
Yeah.
Here, accepting, you know, when you're ending the game, if it matters for that. But otherwise, I would just pretend museum didn't exist here.
I think another counterfeit here might put Silly Potter in a position where he could potentially pile next. The expand gets a little bit towards that, but I think it's not terribly likely to be able to draw whatever.
It's I don't know.
I think there's going to be 3 provinces. Oh,
like
it gets an expand too.
No bandit camp. But may not get attacked, so might have wanted to get attacked here.
Yeah. Top deck 2 draw cards. Or I guess envoy something and play ghost ship more accurately.
Well, if you did that, then it wouldn't matter what you top deck. But I think honestly, if I had gotten attacked here, I would have put both the draw cards on top and just bought a province.
Yeah.
But
yes, expanding Hermit looks. I guess there's a suggestion of double by expanding the counterfeit.
Yeah, I think without knowing that RTT is dud, taking double here is pretty ambitious.
Yeah. Though, any province is scary.
I mean, yeah, but you can't play around, I guess, to the spec comments, you can't really play around RTT quadding because, you know, I mean, I guess you'd have to get a lot of distant lands, but
or
you have to get them and play them. And it's actually quite hard to play them in these decks. They never got thin or have enough envoys, to be honest.
They're doing much more of, you know, big ugly decks that draw a lot of cards but can't play anything specific. Duckies.
Or if Silly Potter draws really well, this may just be 4 and a win. I don't know. Depends a lot on if they find the other envoy.
I don't think it's gonna happen in this deck, but and it's really easy for me to say that right after Silly Potter is successfully not drawn.
Yeah, I think it wasn't so weird. If they find the envoy, I think it's not too hard, but
I think looking at these last couple turns, I would no longer be expecting anything out of these decks other than being able to buy things.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But yeah, this definitely feels like one where they moved on certain parts of it without making the decks really awesome. But
yeah, there's an argument to be made that what is it that I'm trying to say?
now RTT's fully embraced the museum.
There's an argument to be made that you should just kind of start, going after points at some point, just because you'll be fast enough that even the really clean, awesome deck is going to have to go into this ugly state, catch up. But I guess it's kind of like,
yeah, it depends, I guess, a bit on what like the bandit camp split is, but like how much they can build up. Because if they have a lot, then I don't know, they can do quite a bit with the distant lands.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of like last game where it just isn't something that really meets my, Dominion philosophy personally.
Yeah, and I mean, I've certainly started games like this where I intended to play it clean and I didn't succeed myself either. So, but I guess this is
Make something beautiful or die trying. Here's 2 provinces if RTT wants it, which apparently so. I can even get the copper curse for those museum points.
just keep your expand duchy spoils, I guess. See if RTT or if sillypotter. How many of the distant lands are still running around? I guess they're all down.
Sillypotter looks like he reaches here. Is that right? No, only 2 buys. I guess that just makes this 2 duchies. Shall, of course, not be enough.
Well, evened up.
Assuming, RTT doesn't instinctively click the duchy. Managed to not fall for the click trap.
Well, not loving. Well, okay. I mean, they're building the right type of deck, but I think there are some misses on the build order and some play order stuff. But
you have the ability to just get to where you aren't, seeing anything other than your green cards for stock cards when you're actually doing your drawing. So that's how Bandit Camp works.
Yeah.
More Hermit.
I guess we got I was getting ready to say, I hadn't looked at the left side of the board yet. I was getting ready to say it'd be kind of hard to do dominate, but platinum can certainly do it.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I guess I'm a little bit interested on these openings because there's both the option of like double hermit and then get your catapult with your hermit, or try to get catapult early, and I don't know what that does. So
yeah, I think that, I don't know, the catapult doesn't look super great against hermits. I mean, I guess it's good against the madmans if you.
Yeah, but I mean, you're going to be putting catapults into your deck with the hermits, so.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the opening of it doesn't.
I don't know that it does a whole lot. I mean, I guess both openings would have collided, so. It sucks if you're RTT no matter what. Discussing rats.
Yeah, I don't think rats was crazy either.
Yeah.
Though you'd really like to hit a 5 once. I guess maybe hope your madman gets you there. Even 4 is fine, really. Second 4 is fine.
I think I'm good with adding the rats a little bit later.
Just the rats to border village is super nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the person who does that like twice, if they do it quite a bit before their opponent, they'll just run away because they're going to start having turns from the scholar that the other person just isn't close to.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that you want to get to early, because it makes it so that Madman doesn't get to be as effective, because you get to play Catapult, and then Catapult isn't as effective against you. You get to play Scholar. I guess there's some question that people are asking towards the end of the game, whether it's actually worth trying to get to Dominate, or whether you should just be replacing border villages.
I mean, there's some pile stuff that may be just where the piles end up is probably more important for figuring that out. Where the rats and the hermits and the border villages are.
Probably going to be proven irrelevant.
So I don't
get thin the curses. Yeah.
I mean, the curses will only matter if somebody's like super far behind. And then they're going to already be super far behind. But otherwise, I don't think people have trouble dealing with curses.
I think it's being mentioned as a pile off of like pose replace. You can also catapult rats, but catapulting copper is just going to be probably better. Sure. That's really rough for sillypotter, discarding 2 madmen there.
I would have at least thought about, I mean, they did it pretty quick. I would have thought about just trying the turn.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get a 6 soonish, you're in.
I guess with RTT not having a scholar, you're a little bit more inclined to try and wait for a better turn with them, because you have to imagine that the catapult's not coming every turn.
Yeah, that's true.
Trying to figure out whether I like seeing the scholar before the replace for sillypotter, and I'm pretty sure I don't with one madman still in deck. Again, something that's really easy for me to say when I see this hand.
This one's a little... I wonder if you... Rats is great here. I wonder if the play there... This sounds weird, but I wonder if the actual play there was to trash the Hermit to Rats instead of a Copper.
Yeah, I think so.
Do an attack plus Border Village replace.
Yeah, because I mean, right now I'm looking at catapulting the Hermit probably being the best move.
Yeah, and the Curse is, I think, quite a bit worse than the discard attack.
Yeah.
But they're just doing the attack and not getting 6, which is... I guess if you're just buying a replace here, it might pan out okay, but...
Yeah, it gets you into a little bit of a... called over terminal situation.
If you're gonna trash... If you're gonna trash the Rats, that's... Maybe it doesn't matter, but that's, I guess, technically the wrong order. Yeah, this looks fine. I didn't think through the Hermit trash of Rats.
I think I would have just not trashed the Rats at all, though, because...
No replace.
Yeah.
That's very strange.
That one's just...
So since RTT didn't really have much of a turn, sillypotter still gets the replace now and is in a good spot.
Or we'll see. Could be, you know.
It's just it's just a weird order Marcus in, because you can easily get the... I mean, you can get the second scholar. Like, having a second scholar, what are you doing? You're just playing a bunch of stuff. If you don't have a replace, it doesn't do anything for you.
Replace can make a scholar. Scholar can't make a replace. That's...
Like firing off doesn't do anything here, hardly, unless you actually have payload.
I mean, you get a replace in your starting hand, or you get a scholar in your starting hand. It does the same thing ultimately.
This is so greedy. Like, you could just buy a replace there. I don't agree with these discard choices.
You're gonna watch this Border Village draw a scholar.
Yeah,
now.
I'm sure it will, but I still think it's wrong. I don't like it at all. It's so greedy.
I mean, I just don't know really what else the turn does other than buy a replace there. Now it doesn't buy a replace at all.
Yeah, when you get to attack, which you did hurt RTT a bit here, but
I mean, it's just, you know, set a goal for your turn, and you know, you could do that with your hand.
that was pretty... I guess I would replace Hermit into replace, but this is okay-ish too. Before doing this, because you would have got to do this and you just would have also had to replace. I mean, I guess if you're really excited about getting the...
I think this was a little bit more conservative potentially, which might be what RTT is feeling. I know, at least if I were watching from RTT's side, sillypotter not having replace yet, I would probably be playing a little bit less aggressively.
Yeah. This is all quite rough now for sillypotter. You just have to take a remodel. Yeah. But also just a horrible draw again.
I think at this point I could imagine as RTT replacing the catapult. Another replace.
I think I think this sequence was wrong. Before you play the maybe I'm wrong.
Did RTT trash the Hermit? Yes, RTT did trash the Hermit.
For Madman, they didn't trash it with, what Cave is saying.
Yeah. I think a lot surprised at popping the Madman there rather than playing the Rats. Or I guess there's no point in trying to conserve it at this point. So that's just safer. Dismantle, yeah. Probably getting to be about that time. Yes, play the dismantle on nothing.
So I think, you got to play the Rats once and you can trash this. So, for sillypotter, you just have to try to find the border village now. So, doesn't work out. I guess you can play another one, but then your turn is just kind of
broken.
Yeah. Or you go backwards in some sense, in one way or another, even if you find the border village.
There should be a question here for RTT of, maybe not quite. It's getting close to where you could maybe imagine winning.
Yeah.
I think it's probably
a little hard to have. It's kind of hard to get the point right.
Yeah, I think it's also a little bit towards there's no point in going for it at this point.
Yeah, unless you just knew it worked. Then, well, you can do a Rats pile out, but that doesn't score.
Yeah. You can do a Rats pile out and you can probably get the replaces.
Yeah. I wonder. I agree if you can find a path to to do it, because you don't want to give yourself another shuffle if you can win now. If you Rats pile out, you can't curse them. The curse will be gone. Oh, you curse them, and I'm dumb. Sorry. The curse doesn't go in your deck.
Yeah, I think I prefer this route from RTT though. It's also worth kind of noting that just because of how ahead RTT is, that we probably won't see dominate. At least not from RTT's side.
RTT doesn't have Rats anymore, so that isn't how it's going down.
No rats pile outs today. Yeah. Or later.
Is RTT just going to try and mill through the provinces?
I don't think it's quite there.
I just mean over the course of turns, I guess, is what I meant. Or maybe they can just replace stuff into replaces and end those.
Yeah, I'm guessing that RTT. Well, I don't know where the action space is exactly, but I'm guessing that RTT is going to be able to do it this next turn.
I guess the other thing now is that the number of rats remaining. The number of rats remaining is small enough you can hold a green card. Yeah, you don't have to eat the whole deck.
Yeah.
If there's some way to get 2 rats and then do that pile out that way with the hermits going too, you wouldn't have to trash. Though Silly Potter's going to probably score a little bit here, so that's going to change it all.
Does anybody in chat have an idea how many border villages RTT has left? I think he's trashed one of them. So I'm going to guess 6.
There's a border village in the trash Marcus, so somebody definitely did.
Looks like 6 is accurate. I was going to say, I think that gives enough terminal space to get the piles, but
and someone mentioned they have a madman as well.
I'm not sure that there's actually enough stuff to replace.
We only need to do 2 things, right? I mean, assuming you can overdraw it.
You can do the rats.
Assuming you can overdraw and do the gaining. Now, I don't know if that works out, but
yeah. Curse is probably actually helpful.
It doesn't have to eat the provinces just because there aren't that many rats, Marcus. And I guess the idea, at least, is that you might have enough just whatever things to trash.
I think hermit rats should be doable.
The madman does quite a bit here if you get to it. And I don't know though. I don't have a perfect conception of the.
At this point, I think I would be inclined to go for it. You have a hermit in deck, so no, he gained a
hermit. He has a hermit. He can do the hermits just with the hermit. You have to do the replaces for 2 rats.
Yeah, I would scholar now.
I would replace into rats, I think, and then scholar.
Yeah, you can scholar now and get to the end of the deck. I guess RTT might do province to province would be.
All right. Yes.
Okay, we're going. That's good to see.
I have to trash 3 things.
Need to curse, silver, replace.
Yep.
Okay. Just a different way of getting the hermit.
Yep. However many ways or a few ways. Yeah, it's like the rats out where it's like just like a normal 3 pile. It's not the actual rats out.
Tea time.
Everybody get your tea. Wait, slip. All right, so RTT's up 2-1 now. They have had the 2 first player starts, so for whatever that's worth.
Going along with the starts, we're on pace for Game 7 if anybody's keeping track.
Though, I guess the first 2 games were won by second player.
I think I'll take this opportunity to go get some water.
RTT finally beat the second player advantage. I should think of something to say while Tracer is gone, but yes, Shocklocky. NA Smith going for the back-to-back. I don't know what a Milski is. Oh. Yes, absolutely. That is exactly what they get.
I mean, I'm already back, so you're not going to surprise me.
We actually organized this semifinals match just to do this. We threw this. They ran this tournament just for this moment. We were all behind the closet doors.
Should at least try to be more accurate. Not that.
They get 500 euros.
Yeah.
It's a 1,000 total pot. You get 500, 300, 150, and 50.
That's for sure. If it was actually my birthday, sure as heck wouldn't be running this town hall right after this match.
They make the poor losers of these semifinals match face off for a cool 100 euro difference. I mean, 500 euros is already pretty exciting, but then you convert it into dollars and it's like marginally more exciting. Or at least it was when it happened to me. I don't actually know what the exchange rate is now.
I think they stay about the same. Who knows?
At the time when I won it, it was more than, or it was more dollars than euros, but
Look, here we have something.
I don't know what it is right now.
Oh. Just to say, there's not going to be a lot of extra gaining, I would guess. And you should be able to get to pretty much full consistency with Bounty Hunter.
I just want to see a bigger number Wandering Winder. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, you probably can make one of those clean things. I only ever succeed to make those by accident. Like I get halfway through the game and realize I'm like one play away from it.
One card away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my question, is whether you want to be Desperation for Sentry or do something like Bounty Hunter Gear. It would be, which I think I prefer.
There's something to, if it doesn't cost you a province split, there's something to having the estates in exile rather than trash. But
yeah,
that can be a bit.
Liking Bounty Hunter Gear.
To Sage.
I was not seeing Sage. No, RTT will do Sentry, Bounty Hunter, Armory. All right, nobody does what I was thinking. That's always a good sign.
Well, I honestly, I didn't look at the whole board. I didn't see Armory. But I think I like doing some Armory stuff. Throne Room's really good.
Silly Potter got a little bit of a dream here, seeing the Sage turn 4 after buying Sentry. So Silly Potter is just doing so much better than RTT.
Yeah, very, very, very clean already.
Not really a way around that. Okay, so Silly Potter is definitely trying to get into this province each turn, Bounty Hunter at each turn deck.
Yeah.
Is what the Bounty Hunting Sage says to me.
Yeah. And we'll have, I think, not much problem trying to do it. Yeah. One of the things that I never know about these is like sometimes you reach a point where you're maybe like a card off from it, or a card, probably more than one. Otherwise, you would just wait the one turn. But
yeah,
that you consider just starting on the provinces and hoping you stay mostly clean, or if but now with now you're just there, you exile whatever.
Yeah, so
province.
Silly Potter is just added already. This will be a province this turn and province every turn thereafter.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's just absolutely no way for RTT to match that, even with the Armory.
Well, RTT is just not anywhere yet.
Yeah. It's like this turn needed to hit 8. I'm guessing RTT is gonna. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in theory you can get a lot of armory plays, but that just gets you estates. So that's, I'm not really sure what beyond this you can do. It's a pretty small amount of extra points you can acquire.
I think that needed to be desperation for province. I mean, it doesn't even matter as RTT now. Yeah, it's seeing the light.
All right, sillypotter also managing to overcome first player disadvantage to even it back up. We're on a collision course with a game 7. I can feel it. Also, they're just relatively common.
Well, do your old. I mean, I'm just looking at archive and treasure trove.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
you probably get to see the
I guess
rare.
I guess you might get the Overlord played as Counting House some. If you have an Overlord. Could happen.
I'm skeptical of the duplicate. But we'll see. I think on 3-4 I was looking at Fortune Teller or something. Probably silver.
The duplicate is like, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it's supposed to be for archive, I suppose. But
yeah, but if you don't hit it, then it just sits there for a while. I mean, maybe it's not a huge deal that if it makes you get another silver or something. I guess that's not the worst thing here.
Or it can just sit on the mat and eventually be a duchy. Sounds bad. I mean, it's good if later, but
sillypotter goes with Overlord. I think I like that.
Yeah,
I like getting the archive play on the shuffle.
Yeah, the thing I would be doing on the 2-5 otherwise is like Hamlet archive, so it's not doing.
Yeah, though it would have been. I guess you're gonna get to get another copper here anyway.
This is archive and probably buy Fortune Teller. It's the rare board where you get to put a Fortune Teller in instead of a silver and not air.
I don't think I like missing 5 here for another Overlord.
That one I was not a big fan of.
Because I would rather get the Trove this turn.
Sure.
But I guess we'll see how it goes. Can get the Trove this next turn.
Yeah, RTT will have to get 2 archives here. I don't even think it's a question.
Oh, sillypotter couldn't get 5. So this is even worse.
Yeah, this is. Good fortune teller discarding all of sillypotter's good cards. Now RTT just plays like Temple Pot. Gets every single arc.
Chancellor, fortune teller. Templebot does like treasure trove. They're pretty good with treasure trove, or they buy it. I guess that doesn't mean they're good at, but they like treasure trove, and they do Templebot, archive too. I think so.
Yeah, always empties the archives. Quite dependable on that.
And they'll play with some Overlord too.
But I have gambled on it these turns as RTT. Maybe. There you go. Gamble. Now what? I almost wonder, with RTT having the archive in hand, if the fortune teller is beneficial to get the estate out of the deck for a bit. Probably. That is the fortune teller attack. I don't know that it's resignable. It's not like they're pretty decks where everything is going to be happy.
Yeah, the archive smooths some, but you can still get a turn where you're just under 8, and then some other turn where you're way above it.
There you go, counting house. Maybe. Province. Well, I don't think the province is going to do sillypotter many favors, but I feel like it really needs to get a trove into deck. Although I don't know how much good that would actually do at this point. Needed to get the trove into deck a long time ago.
Somebody who is a real hero would have tried to do Hamlet counting house stuff. I don't know what getting, bison actions are quite doing for you, but
Sillypotter
and Plaza.
Yeah. Probably see another counting house from sillypotter this turn. Yeah, silver.
Isn't this just easy take archive?
I would have thought so.
That is weird to me. I mean, they'll be fine for another turn, but
I mean, it's not that it's the kind of deck where I think you just want to get all of the cards into hand. Or as many as possible, anyways. Oh, I guess looking at this, it looks good to save that one for later. Silly Potter's probably looking at 3 duchies here. I guess it can be a province still.
If you're willing to take the tie here, you can just province still. Were there not a lot of coppers in the...
No, I think this is the first hand after a shuffle. Yeah. Now this will be 3 duchies for sure. RTT will just continue to boringly province. Now we get to watch the duplicates be absolutely terrible to actually have in your deck. Do you offer the tie? Well, if I can see Silly Potter's hand, I definitely don't. Or I mean, if you can see Silly Potter's hand, you province, but
yeah.
I would not offer the tie as first player in a 2-2 match. Guys.
This is just guaranteed at this point.
Yeah.
They already have 8 set aside.
Silly Potter probably should not have used the duplicate on a state the previous turn. Not that it's going to end up mattering, but I guess there's only 2 duchies left. Okay. Silly Potter was absolutely correct to use the duplicate on a state last turn.
Yeah, I don't think it was
stupid.
They also didn't do it. So they played the duplicate, they didn't call it.
And then all this first player disadvantage stuff really doesn't seem to be going on here anymore.
It's a shame. All right, we'll see if RTT can close it out. Or these boards have been pretty good overall.
Yeah,
pretty nice boards.
This one is well, I mean, it's a little bit hurting for gains, which could make it actually more interesting. Yeah, Guardian Sentry for RTT for sure. And the reason I say being hurting for gains might make it more interesting is because it'll make potentially some kind of mass cardinaling.
But you can just be Guardian.
Ah, wow.
Guardian
sucks.
You're already
ruins everything.
If you're RTT, you already have one, so I think Guardian between Cobbler and Fair, you can get some. Cobbler is a little sadder than Fair, but
that is something here where the stuff that you actually want tends to be a little bit more on the expensive side.
Yeah.
I think I do like potentially Cobbler on the second 5, maybe.
I mean, if you don't have I think the collar's reasonable. I mean, you can get diplomats for additional draw, and the other draw stuff are villages anyway. So, assuming you're probably not doing alchemist stuff, so
yeah, I can imagine a little bit of alchemist stuff. Yeah, that was my thought as the first cobbler play game Ocean.
You can do it.
I'm just not a huge fan of, buying all of these lost cities.
Yeah.
Let's see. RTT might just fair. Never mind about what RTT is going to do. No idea either. I do like getting the fair in on an early price point miss.
Yeah. No, it looked like a good spot for
it. That's always the great way to do it, is have it not feel terrible.
I'm not totally sure about the second centuries.
Can see an argument against for sure.
I guess you can, if you have Cobbler, you could take Cardinal sometime if they don't have a Guardian down, and then force them to spin a gain on a second Cardinal, or maybe they just ignore it because they can just buy whatever you exile. But
that's probably more likely. I almost wonder if you should just be, trashing the Guardians just because they're so easy to buy.
Yeah, I wouldn't trash the Guardians just because then, well, you're right, you can't buy them pretty easily, but
yeah,
I'm not sure they're so bad that you have to trash them, but
it's just that it just being there kind of makes doing any attacks not necessarily worthwhile. Yeah, you can gain attack to hand with Cobbler, but you get to do it once.
it does presuppose that cave. I mean, I would spend a 5 on a Cobbler.
Yeah. Although, I mean, getting hit even once by Sea Hag could just be devastating if it's timed properly.
I mostly am cobbling diplomats, but maybe some silvers.
I mean, silver not being that great to buy, and it probably being your payload here.
It's not clear Z-Mobi. No, it might not be worth it. I'm not. It's very yeah.
We're not endorsing one way or the other. We're saying
just talking about some stuff.
I mean, I would probably just forget that they don't have Guardian up and never get an attack.
I mean, at the start, the Cardinal thing has the same problem Cardinal will always have, which is they'll just go buy the card you hit. They go for so sillypotter wants the defense. They got their second Guardian, so
and did add the cobbler.
I don't know if I would spend the money on a Royal Blacksmith. Not clear to me. You're a long ways from a point where a Royal Blacksmith is doing anything for you.
I think it's probably too expensive to get rid of all of your coppers also. Not that you need to get rid of all of the coppers, but you would be discarding a bit.
I don't think it's impossible to get a Royal Blacksmith, but I'm not looking for one.
Yeah, I mean, there's some scenario where you just get amazing sentry draws off the early stuff and end up with no coppers in a naturalish way, but
the thing is, like, it's almost too much draw at this point too to spend 8 on, like, it. I mean, I know they're not drawing deck yet, but
yeah, no, it's a thing with both Royal Blacksmith and Hunting Grounds where it's just you do so much you do so much draw that you need other draw to be consistent, and so when you eventually play it, it just doesn't really do much more than, say, a Diplomat would.
yeah, you need like a lot of villages, or like, yeah, it's a weird.
Cobbler number 2, but 1. Lost the attack.
I don't think certainly drawing a copper off the top of your deck isn't
yeah.
I mean, I guess it doesn't really. I don't know. I mean, I guess the copper's not in the deck, but I think you're okay with it. I wouldn't call it an attack. Even in the.
I think RTT is actually really feeling the not having a cobbler right about now. Just, buying silver. Somehow, despite how slow cobbler is, it still seems like it's faster to be gaining silvers with them than buying silvers.
Yeah. Cobbler is, yeah, that's not, you'd have to, like, I don't know off the top of my head, like, where the turnaround points are for those kinds of things, because
I mean, like, this is a board where you would, like, definitely be buying bureaucrat just because it gains silver. not even like an attack, just, it adds payload to your deck that you don't have to buy.
Mm-hmm. Cardinal hitting silver, I guess, would be kind of annoying for RTT.
Cardinal hitting potion would be really annoying.
Yeah.
They're both guardian.
Is RTT fully guardian? Yeah, I guess they are.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Sillypotter did add a potion this turn, so it was also going to be or added a potion some other time. Added a potion some other turn that I wasn't paying a lot of attention to.
This is one of those where, like, I guess you can get the collar now and have them not on the same, and have them played on the same turn. But, like, another draw card here is not doing anything.
Yeah, I mean, Cobbler's the only thing that does anything. This is why Cave wanted Cobbler last turn.
Yeah.
Yep.
But just like none of the draw cards help you the next turn. You can get silver, but I mean, there is something to getting the silver, so you can take a gold the next turn as well.
Yeah. You can do Cobbler this turn, and then I don't know, Cobbler Alchemist next. You have lots of Cobbler, which
I think
might
Cardinal
actually
is
be expensive at that point.
Yeah. I don't think so, Lemon. I think you're more likely in the distant future to want the actions to play a diplomat than you are to be able to get a reasonable hit on them.
I mean, I also just don't think you're going to be able to get any hit at all. Yeah,
wait a minute.
RTT there.
Oh, I thought they already had it. That was the first one.
I was going to say, you can see RTT there, keeping a copper that gets flipped with Sentry just because you need to keep that little bit of money. Gold.
So they're at 13.
Yeah, so next turn could be another Alchemist Gold or whatever. I think as RTT here, you probably want to take 2 golds. At least I'd tend towards it.
I wonder if Silly Potter takes silver here and goes province gold. If there's anything,
I think that's probably a good move.
If there's anything to that. And they can if they get if they get a chance, they can trash a copper too.
Yeah.
Which would be pretty nice. Though they didn't play for doing that. They didn't play the Sentry, so
I think there's still a copper left.
There might be one, but you would have played it earlier, I think, when you hadn't seen any of the
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you would have played it earlier.
I mean, Silly Potter might also be tunneling a little bit on discarding the Sentry for Arena, since that's what happened last turn.
They'll be able to discard a diplomat.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds like a weird thing to tunnel in on, but it's definitely something that I think I've probably done something similar in the past, where it's this is the card that I need to discard to Arena because it's the one I've always been discarding to Arena.
Yeah.
So this copper should get trashed.
So RTT still just at 15, right?
Yeah, that's why the buys last turn were a little bit confusing. I think it should have been 2 golds. Silly Potter doing a little bit of counting here.
Yeah.
making sure this copper can be tracked.
It's there's not really a reason to go over. I mean,
yeah,
I don't think there's any reason to ever keep the copper here anyway.
Yeah.
With the buys limited.
I mean, there's nothing that's even close to. Well, I mean, Alchemist is close to doing one, but you need a second pile for City, so that's just not going to happen.
Yeah. The cobbler starts to look. The cobbler for Diplomat starts to look really nice.
Really, really, really bad.
So RTT didn't even get into double. I guess they're worried about draw, but
I don't think there's room to be worried about draw.
Yeah. And now sillypotter gets another copper trash. Down to 16 exact. And
yeah, that does seem like
looks very, very good for them.
I mean, you can worry about draw, but at some point there's just not room to time to do
didn't
that.
Find lost cities. That was quite unfortunate.
And didn't find a guardian, so now RTT can, cobbler that cardinal.
I don't think I would trash the cobbler yet, Wandering Winter, or not that last turn anyway. Maybe the next time around if there is one.
There is still terminal room for one more diplomat, so now RTT does get up to the double, which is actually
it's important now.
from doing so.
Yeah, sillypotter can't double here, or won't want to double here.
Yeah, I think sillypotter can reach 16, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, Province Duchy will put. No, this is Diplomat from Cobbler. Pretty sure Province Duchy puts RTT in a really rough spot.
Yeah, it still lets you get to the 5 provinces.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not really a risk of tie with Province Duchy. If RTT doubles the next turn, then you win with Province Duchy again. If RTT double duchies, then you can double province. If RTT double provinces, then you can double or RTT province duchies, and you can double province, and any of those routes are winning for you.
I guess on the cobbler gain here, if you don't want diplomat, you could take guardian. Would be the other thing, which would give you a little extra, give you some leeway to discard a silver on the next turn. And still hit 16 with the 3 guardians down, but I think that's right. But
this just looks province duchy to me, and only play one of those. Maybe. I guess if both of them is probably fine.
Well, if you can double it lets you discard some money, a copper, I guess.
Yeah.
With Sentry. I would have even, I think, it's not clear that Diplomat is better than like a 3rd Guardian, which lets you discard silver and still double.
Okay, so RTT does Province Duchy, which is trying to, I guess, defend against sillypotter double provincing. Which
this is
going to be a good move.
They've not found the lost cities.
That was. I mean, it's easy to say that it's unfortunate. It probably is, but. I guess you can call that the difference between having what 4 alchemists and 6 alchemists.
Does RTT have a? No. Okay.
No. I'm guessing that this just ends up being 2 duchies then. That seems interesting.
So sillypotter has cobbler, so they just have to hit 8.
I want this to be an estate gain for sure.
I guess taking silver is actually the same, right?
Yeah.
And technically more flexible, right? Silver is just strictly better.
Yeah. In terms of winning this turn.
I don't know that it'll ever matter. I don't know that we have reached the point where the silver is actually better, but
and it could be like okay, yeah, this will win.
They only need $10.
Oh, they already have it. This will definitely win. Yeah, the province buy from RTT was.
So yeah, sillypotter got well, I mean, not that they were impossibly unlucky draws, but they got the unfortunate draws that gave RTT an opening. I don't know. It's not clear to me that with sillypotter not having any alchemist top deck, it's not like obviously wrong to me. But
I mean, you could also look at what, if you wanted to, you could look at what sillypotter had done the previous turn and realize that there were as I said, there were likely 2 lost cities on top, and there was also a fair amount of money left in the deck. So
yeah, it was definitely. I don't know. It's not totally clear to me anyway. It would take me playing out, I always wish, it'll never happen, it'll never exist, but it would be so cool if there was, a re-randomizer for game reload stuff where you can do analysis and you can shuffle your hands a few times and check and see what range of outcomes happen. But we always put so much into what this particular seed comes out with. All right, we're going to game 7. Still under the 2-hour mark.
Random start. They should really try to get this done quick enough that they can say that they were half the time of the other match.
What did they get up to in the very end of it?
I think it was like 4 hours and 20 minutes, something like that. 4 hours and 30 minutes.
Let's just say, 4 hours 20 for no particular reason.
No particular reason. Yes, but we can still get lurker hunting grounds. That's always the best one. Room. Lurker hunting grounds, groom gardens.
The J Nails NA Smith match was almost like a Silk Merchant cage match. They rolled a bunch of Silk Merchant boards.
Groom lackeys. Wants a board where Miser is good. It'd be tough. I mean, it happens, but it still could be tough.
I saw one yesterday too, Cave.
Swamp Head Stalemate. Yeah, not feeling that one. Although the stalemate in the previous round, I'm pretty sure it wasn't actually a stalemate. I'm pretty sure if Silly Potter's opponent had just started buying provinces, they would have won.
I didn't see the game.
It was like Silly Potter couldn't actually sustainably play multiple Swamp Hags in a turn, and all of the village was out, and so it was like it would have been a lot worse for Silly Potter for them to start greening the yeah the okay, they're starting.
What are we gonna get?
Tournament.
I'm down for for this board.
Giant wine merchant combo. That's the combo here.
They have a lot of nice stuff on their lists.
Yeah. Encampment, cavalry,
Inheritance, goons, ambassador, urchin, pathfinding, alliance. I love alliance. Cavalry is gone. That's.
I can sort of understand putting peasant and page on
No,
dislikes.
I love the travel. I love the travelers.
I love them, but it's just like seeing them however many games in a row can just get annoying sometimes. Okay, so they're both gonna open butcher here. At least I'm assuming.
I only have the expansions to whatever I had on GoCo on Templegate games, so I get to play quite a bit of Traveler games against a bot because Adventures is in that block, but not some of the bigger newer sets. Or some, I mean, they're not all bigger, but big.
This looks like a potentially favorable draw for RTT. I'm not sure if you want to save the copper over. Probably do. My initial impression, just based on how these turns have gone with the save stuff, is that RTT is ahead, but it's going to be like the exact same decks, except that one is going to have saved an estate over a shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
Star chart. How are we drawing here? Well, there's, Trusty Steed.
You're gonna apprentice horses.
Yeah.
Zombie apprentice horses.
Yeah, that was always one of the couple of games that I've played on ladder in the past however long. I've seen a couple of necromancer horse boards, and it's just so weird when you can get however many necromancers and the opponent just doesn't do it.
Yeah. It makes draw cave. It's not draw itself per se.
We're gonna see mining village here. guess. Okay, we're gonna see another sleigh here, just as a guess. Or nothing. I guess this is gonna reach province this turn.
I wonder if you...
For RTT.
I'm not sure about that trigger by sillypotter. I might have just played Butcher and saved.
I think you play Butcher and save, and you probably get up to province the next turn. It's ideal.
I'm not like totally sure what's in the rest of the deck. Okay, they had a gold in there. Then that's not so bad. I haven't been paying good enough attention.
Yeah, I missed the gold as well. This looks like estate to slay and then by province.
Yeah.
You top deck play. Top deck's province. That one's... Oh, I guess you can save it.
Yeah, you just save it. But sillypotter does get the followers.
Oh,
I would take the followers here.
I think I'd take followers. I was going to say, as RTT, you're probably looking at Steed, but...
But it's there is quite a big difference from them blocking versus not here, so it still isn't. I
mean, I don't think followers is game winning at all.
I don't think auto. I don't know, but it looks nice. You know what RTT should do right now? Just do this. Do the silvers right now and start doing duchies.
Province or duchies.
Just start duchies immediately. Take the silvers right here. Buy a duchy.
Duchy Duke, Silk Road.
I'm not even like really joking.
I mean, we've been concentrating so much on this tournament game, I haven't even been looking at what else is here.
I think the buildup is not so impressive that I'm willing to try Duchy Duke with Steed in my deck.
It's like one of those games where if I'm playing against a bot, I probably would, take, and I'm just like completely dominating. I would probably take followers and then just immediately trash it because I don't want to deal with the estates.
I think the only fair thing to do here is to zombie apprentice the followers, and then both players can do it. You should do it with every single prize. All the prizes should get trashed. Actually, that's just should be a house rule for Necromancer tournament. The prizes should just start in the trash.
Start in the trash.
Diadem too.
And then you can switch them and put the zombies in the prize pile.
Mm-hmm. That's still how we're gonna play it, Chernica, even if you have Lurker. Yeah, you just buy Necromancers. I think mostly I'm just not sure. guess I'm not real sure what RTT does if they don't do the thing. Maybe there's a deck here for them too, but
yeah, I mean, it's not like horrible to build, although it looks like with Silly Potter, it looks like Silly Potter's just going to be trying to rush down provinces.
That's the problem to me is you can't fall on the provinces because you'll definitely be behind in points, I think. And just I think worse at doing the province stuff. So I would want to go to something different. But maybe it doesn't matter, and you just, I mean, like, obviously this is someone doing provinces has ways to empty them.
Yeah. I am a little bit skeptical of actually discarding the province. I mean, for this deck, it's pretty clearly Bag of Gold, but
well, it could be Diadem. You could want Diadem on top right now, I think, pretty easily.
I'm definitely more towards starting to try to mill that province followers. Yeah, I mean, you can mill a province and buy a province rather than get the Bag of Gold.
Right.
Mill a province versus Bag of Gold is the question. I think I'd rather do the mill. Duchies.
Princess seems super underwhelming to me.
Yeah.
But
I mean, maybe now Silly Potter is going to start, doing Duchy Duke, Silk Road.
yeah, I mean, I think they can do quite a few things and maintain the advantage here.
I think the problem with doing Duchy Duke as Silly Potter is that if RTT is actually trying to build here, that really does give RTT the opportunity to do that and be successful with it. Province.
Could have got a save there if they had been deck tracking.
This is kind of...
yeah, because I mean there was just 2 coppers, so it could took cash and.
I think that the duchies are pretty odd as well. I think I would rather have at least the second one be another butcher.
I mean, Silly Potter's fine in a longer game though. Like, Silly Potter is going to have the number of green card advantage, so they're going to have better Silk Roads. They're going to have, I mean, the Bag of Gold is helping in that respect too. And RTT isn't. I would think there would be something to it if RTT was maybe already down the duchy path somewhat. Had a deck that was better for that, but I don't know.
I may be thinking too much of this deck that RTT is possibly moving towards. In that I'm a little bit scared if you're just doing, duchies, that RTT is going to maybe suddenly buy 4 provinces on you, but
yeah,
it's not actually anywhere close to that.
Oh, Wonder Winner makes a good point that could have got the gold into hand there. The sleigh is just dead. They didn't use the sleigh or anything. And could have drawn whatever, I guess, the next card behind whatever the followers would have drawn there.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this array of cards for RTT for Star Chart, I mean, it looks pretty solid. So
guess we'll see.
See.
I mean, if they can get to, I mean, the problem is they need 4 gains. They would have had to get to 18 and 3 buys and then like get a duchy. I mean, it's just a lot.
Yeah. I think with a perfect draw here, RTT might have actually been able to.
Yeah. Maybe if it was stacked.
Yeah. This turn you get to pop 2 mining villages.
Well, surely you're going to play some of those coppers. He's going to have to ask for another undo.
Grand Market.
Or, interesting. Guess they're not doing that.
I mean, at some point, RTT is going to need to do something about the fact that sillypotter can have duchies, I think. I mean, this turn for sillypotter should pretty well secure things, I think.
Well, it destroys 2 provinces, right?
Yeah, that's the curing things. That was fancy. Gain a duchy to turn it into a grand market.
Like if we stack the deck, can RTT win here? I don't think so anymore. I don't think so. They do have like 5 buys now, but yeah. So I guess in theory, like it might it might be possible with a stack, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the previous turn it would have definitely been possible. This one I'm a lot more skeptical of.
I think you just go for it though. I think you start blowing up the mining villages 100%.
Yeah.
I don't think you can hope to get it because sillypotter star charted. Sillypotter has a butcher on top. So
we've started doing that.
You're gonna apprentice the sleigh, I think.
Get a horse into hand. That's what's happening.
Isn't that just worse than?
Yeah.
You just care about cards this turn. I think that's you zombie apprentice it.
Yeah. I mean, it was going to be rough having to play a necromancer as anything other than Mason, I think, but
there's still like 2 horses, 3 horses in deck that they didn't draw. If it had been stacked, maybe it would have.
Princess, another grand market. All right. Well.
All right, GG's.
There you have it. We get a.
Congrats to sillypotter.
US versus Japan final, just like in the, well, not first of these, but first of these on Shuffle It.
Yep. We haven't had a...
Call it.
Or wait, did Mercury make it to the finals one year?
Mercury made it in the
Dan?
first year against Dan.
Yeah. All right. So it's been since then, though, since there was a Japanese player in the finals, right?
Yeah, we can pretend this is going to be a World Cup preview. Yes, jack of all trades, King's Court Spice Merchant. How could we forget?
All right. Oh yeah, that was a good one. Okay, well, congrats to Silly Potter yet again. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for chatting with me, Tracer.
Thank you for, I guess, letting me chat with you.
Well, no, I don't deserve that. And then hope you all can make it out for the final match with N.A. Smith and Silly Potter. But we'll let y'all go and see y'all later.